Well, we had the original trilogy, then we came out with the prequels, and finally, The Force Awakens, a new trilogy in Star Wars. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Gear Breaker Nation, where we give excellent assessment and reviews. And in this video, we're going to be reviewing Star Wars Episode VII, The Force Awakens. Now, Episode 7 does pick up 30 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, where two unlikely heroes have to help the Resistance find Luke Skywalker to help restore the Jedi and to stop a new threat to the galaxy known as the First Order. And I have to say, this might actually be my all-time most favorite Star Wars movie. I really enjoyed this movie on so many levels. Now, when I heard that they was coming out with an Episode 7 was starting up a new trilogy, I was like, okay, I'm completely on board. Now, I know the prequels do get a lot of flack for, you know, some of the story, some of the acting, and some of the action sequences and things like that, and a bit of the overuse of the CGI, but for the most part, I thoroughly enjoyed the prequels and thought they did tell a compelling story. Now, we get to see what happens after the original trilogy. The acting was phenomenal. I loved everybody. Everybody did a really good job. I have to give props to Daisy Ridley, who did a really good job as a new character, Rey. I really liked her. She was strong, she was independent. She was also funny, but you can also tell she was very vulnerable in a lot of instances, and sometimes even a bit naive. And I think that did well because it did complement the character played by Boyega, Finn. Finn was a really good character, and I like how these two characters came from these two different backstories and how they meshed together. I really thought they had really good chemistry. I like the fact that they both had their strengths and weaknesses. They both had their different motivations, but it also worked together. So it made both the characters not only that much more compelling, but actually made it to where I actually cared for them and the relationship that these two had. These two characters are definitely a great addition to the already massive roster of characters in the Star Wars franchise. Adam Driver completely kills it as Kylo Ren. I like the fact that even though he is a part of the dark side, you can see that he has these conflicting emotions, and I like the fact that they're exploring it. I like the fact that he's immature, because in most incarnations of the Sith in the films, all of them are very mature, they're very stoic, they're very cunning, they're very rageful, but it's done in a very precise and clean-cut way. In this film, he's kind of immature. He's so overconfident. When he gets pissed off, you can tell he gets pissed off. He goes in little rage fits. I like that about his character. It gives so much depth. And for fans of the original series, of course, some of the older cast members come back, and they're done really well. Ford completely kills it as Han Solo. The man has not missed a step. Even though he is 30 years older in the film, it does show that he still is Han Solo. I like the relationship that he had both with Finn and Rey, but I have to say, with Chewbacca, it was completely funny. You gotta see here, Carrie Fisher comes back as Princess Leia, and you can see that they have that romantic relationship, which I think does pretty much stand the test of time. I love the way these two characters and the pain that actually holds them together, that there's also a tragedy in their past that holds them and binds them together. When they're on screen together, I actually can see the chemistry there. They're also conflicted too, not only with just each other, but this tragedy that they both share. Another character who I thought was completely badass was Maz Kanata. She was really cool. I really enjoyed her character, and I hope that she makes another appearance in more movies, because I really enjoyed the character. Let's see, I liked her dialogue. I thought she had a really cool personality. That's one character I have to say that I actually was really impressed with, was her character. The story actually does feel reminiscent of the first trilogy, and it's done pretty well for the most part, even though for some people it does feel like it's too much of a ripoff from the first film. I thought it was done really well and told its own story. It was done for the most part with a bit of emotional flair, as well as some really fantastically done action sequences and some well-placed humor. Aside from the fact that both sides are sitting here looking for Luke Skywalker, there are other things that are pressing along the story, but I thought it had a really good balance. Visually, the movie is quite impressive. Some of the best cinematography, some of the best wide shots of these beautiful landscapes, beautiful cityscapes. They did not pull any punches when it comes, because it is a beautifully shot film, definitely worth admiring. The score was beautiful also, and helped bring out some of the most emotional moments, the more action-packed moments. but it brought back that galactic feel that is Star Wars, and it is done in a really cool way. Even though it does harken back to the old, it does bring enough of the new to make it feel fresh. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. This is something definitely worth buying and appreciating. The Force was used in a very impactful way. Despite all the other movies, this movie actually feels like the Force has a lot more power to it. Felt like it had actual weight and presence to it. When people are using it, they had this really dark human sound like that, and I thought that was really good, and it made it feel like the Force is actually a weapon. Even the lightsaber felt like it had more presence to it. It didn't feel as smooth as in previous films. It felt a bit more rough, and I think that actually made for more compelling action sequences when it came to the lightsabers. In the end, Episode 7, The Force Awakens, is a great movie and definitely one of the best of 2015, and hopefully a great opening for a new trilogy with new characters, new possibilities, new stories to be told. I have to say that the acting was superb. They had really good characters. I fell in love with Rey and Finn, and I even like Kylo Ren. I appreciated the older characters that got brought back into the film. I loved the action sequences. They were so well shot and so well done. The directing was on point. The musical score, beautifully crafted. In the end, I just have to say Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, definitely deserves a 5 out of 5. And I have to say, I would be so bold as to admit, this definitely is my favorite Star Wars movie as of right now. So guys, in the comment section below, please let me know who is your favorite character from The Force Awakens. Me personally, it has to be Rey. She was really cool. I liked the character. I felt for her. She was really strong. She was vulnerable at some moments. And I like how the film just sits here and just fleshes her character out. Alright guys, as you well know, until the next edition of Gear Breaker Nation, keep those gears turning.